What is going on, Warband? How y'all doing today? Things are getting a tad bit warmer out there. Spring is it's gonna go full circle. I feel bad for you guys if you have any allergies. Good thing I don't. Welcome to episode 82 of Yeetus' Thoughts. Oh, this is gonna be a good one because I'm sure all of you men that are in here are able to relate to this topic. But before I start, I'm looking at the comments right now. What's going on, D-Man, Alan Herman, Yvonne, Lolo, Indy, Liberty, what's going on? Sigma Rodin, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Good evening. Well, yeah, aren't we all allergic to sips of feminists? Oh, shit. But before we begin, if you want to support your boy, Sir Yeetus, and the Warband, go ahead and click on that link on top of the chat and donate to my Cash App link. All donations are going towards whatever the Warband needs and my channel. If you want a super chat, if you want to just send me anything that you want to say, or you just feel like donating, all donations are definitely appreciated. And I'm sure you guys are wondering why I'm always playing the last song uh, in my last few live streams. It's because somebody is copywriting like crazy one of the songs that I have in my intros. So definitely expect new music in the future, very near future. We're working on that right now. You know, it's kind of annoying. Just nobody, just because he did some mumble rap bullshit over a beat, all of a sudden he's copyrighting everybody. But it is what it is. Just gotta redo a few things and get better. You know what I'm saying? So the topic today, she is never ever happy. Everybody in the chat right now, put a one if you ever heard a woman say, I am content with my life. Put a one in the chat if you heard a woman say, I am content in my life. Put a two if you've never heard a woman say that sentence. Have you ever heard a woman that you know that says, I am content? One, yes, two, no. Because personally, the only women that does say that they're content with their lives are actual traditional women that went through the traditional route. They did what they had to do and have a very good family to take care of as a mother and as a wife. That's the only time I hear a woman say, I am actually content on what's going on. Anything else like these crazy batshit feminists? No. No, not once. Not once I heard them say, I am content. All right. They want more and more and more and more and more and more. It never ends. It is nonstop. That's why I say that a woman's happiness is like a black hole. No matter how much you put in it, no matter how many things you do to be productive, it's never enough. Never enough. That's why the hypergamous behavior is out of control these days, especially when women claim that they don't need men anymore for basic necessities within society. Now, since first world countries or societies are very comfortable, and on top of that, the feminist ideology, and then put in there social media, you just have an out of control hypergamous behavior that it just can't stop. It can't stop. They just want more and more and more. They are never appreciative what they have right in front of them. Ever. You can give them everything that you wanted. I mean that she wanted one day, and then the next day, she's already upset, yelling at you to give her something else. If you give her the world, she will complain about not having the stars. And I'm sure you men have dealt with that within your lives with at least one girl. I'm sure you've dealt with it. Where no matter what you do, she just can't just relax, chill, and be content with what she has. She always want more and more and more. And once you can't give her what she wants, it takes one day, one moment where you say, I can't do that, or no, she's already looking somewhere else. She's already, her hypergamous behavior is kicking in. Because once again, because of social media, of how many men that she can reach now, she's just going to be looking for a man that's slightly better than you. The moment you say that you're unable to give her what she wants, or you put your foot down and say no, she's already 1 foot out the door. It's that easy, gentlemen. It's that easy. Women can also have the pettiest reasons to cheat as well. Oh man, and there's nothing you can do about it. This isn't something you can control as a man. Besides not dealing with them whatsoever on a relationship standpoint. Because once again, this doesn't even have to happen immediately. It can happen 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years from now. And all it takes is at one time. You can't give her what she wants. You're going to wonder how the hell you end up in divorce and family courts. That's how fast you'll be dragged in there. And especially with her wanting the benefits of a man, the privilege of a woman, and the accountability of a 10-year-old, that definitely doesn't help either when it comes to her wanting what she wants all the time. It's literally like dealing with a child when a woman wants this and wants that, wants this and wants that. Like she can't just stand still and like, okay, I'm good with this right now. This isn't broken. This is good to go. I'm out here. That's why the cohabitation thing is a bad idea because you'll be wondering how your simple spacious home is filled up with some random shit that she bought on Amazon, like a leprechaun statue. Like, why do we need a leprechaun statue? Because I want it. It look cute. Oh my god! And best believe that's not going to be her money. It's going to be your money she's spending. I'm just saying, gentlemen, in 2022, it's literally, I really don't see a point on pursuing long term relationships anymore in the West. I ain't saying everywhere, but in the West, I don't see the point. I really don't. Because that sole reason alone, everything that you do will never be enough for her. Because compared to the amount of women that are out here, let's say was it the Mormons? Was it who are the group that is secluded to society? Like they're doing their own thing. Mormons? Pretty sure it was Mormons. Correct me if I'm wrong. Since they're so like to themselves and not worried about outside things such as social media, television, video games, whatever it is, it's just strictly traditional. I'm not worried about it. Outside world, done my business. We're just gonna focus on us. The women are a lot happier, a lot more content of what they have. Okay, it wasn't Mormon, it was Amish. My bad, Amish. It was Amish. Uh, since they're way more on their own, doing their own thing, away from our society. Yeah, best believe the women are way more happier and content with what they have. Doesn't mean that they're going to be fully satisfied. No, because a she's human. Two, hypergamy still exists, but she has way less to choose from. Way less. And plus, with her being super religious, it's not her best interest to act on her impulses. So she got drilled into discipline. Her options are like ridiculously small compared to modern women. You see them way happier than the modern women out here. I'm just saying, man. I really do want to talk about this. So if you guys do want to join, I'm definitely going to send you the send you the link. Because I'm just saying, it's just me. I've never seen or heard a woman that says, I'm actually fine with what I got. I hear it from men all the time, 24/7, saying, yeah, I would like to have more, but I'm good with what I got. What's going on, Gray?
Ooh.
How's life?
Well, a bit back to the grind, but nice part about having a job that doesn't demand your complete thoughts is that you have time to think about other stuff.
That is true, You're able to cruise through work, You don't have to love it, but it's something.
Oh yeah, no, if you're doing work you love, hey, if everyone loved the work that they did, they wouldn't get paid for it.
That is true. That is true. But for the topic today, I always uh, like to say, because ever since with my situation, my red pill moment, I've not once heard a woman say that they are content with what they have. They always want more and more and more. And in 2022, it is way out of control, right? I know it's always been there, but with the mixture of the social media, the crazy feminist ideals, um, and them proclaiming that they don't need men anymore for basic needs. It's just a whirlwind of they can focus on materialistic things or their countless options of men. So, what is your perspective on that?
Well, I think it's fairly simple. Women are never happy with their life because they feel it could be better. Men are happy with their life because they know it could be worse.
Well, yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming to this live stream.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
But yeah, keep it simple as that. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like women, women and men are completely different. There is no equality bullshit. That doesn't exist. I repeat, that doesn't exist. Um, women cannot proclaim, like, "Oh, I want to be like men," and not see the negative side of being a man ever. They just want the good shit, and not even then in a relationship, they just want more. They can never just sit down and chill and relax. Just vibe in the moment. No, you like I said earlier in the live stream, you can give them one thing the day before, and then today she's bitching at you about another thing that they want. So,
and you never know, like, exactly why they pop off. Sometimes it's just a shit test. They're seeing what they can get away with you. Sometimes they're pissed off, don't know why, and they're just trying to figure it out because they've got random hormone fluctuations. Sometimes it's something else entirely that they can't deal with, so they take it out on something that they actually can have control over.
Okay.
Like when say you as a guy, like something really pisses you off, like something happens in the world and you read about it, or maybe at work when your coworker is acting a fool, and you're like, well, I can't take this shit out on him because it destroys off, and then you go home and you break your heavyweight bag. Women don't do that. They just take it out emotionally on whoever they can.
True.
And that's 9 times out of 10 going to be their family.
So, what about my explanation, the comparison between the Amish and modern women on how Amish are way more content than the modern woman?
Well, that is to a certain extent the lower expectations, but I'm
Right.
willing to bet that I don't know. I think that Amish women, like, they're still women at the end of the day.
Of course.
So they probably will still be somewhat discontent. Like, just, but in a way that's easier to please because they don't have the stimulation.
Right.
Like, imagine if a woman has never, ever in her life seen a man who's above a 5.
Yep. Yep. It's similar to her having a hymen. No hymen, no diamond.
Yeah.
Because if she only had one shalom, that's the best one she knows that she knows of. Like, that's the best one.
Well, that is very much part of it too. Like, women, right. Again, another of the things with, like, difference between women and men, women don't create as much. They'll interpret, they absorb, they regurgitate, but they're not really known for making something out of nothing. They don't invent.
True.
So, like, a woman is not going to, well, there's probably one in a million, but most women are not going to come up with something brand new. If they've never seen a Henry Cavill, they're not going to be able to imagine a Henry Cavill.
Yep, I definitely agree. I agree.
So nowadays, where you have like we already live in an age of luxuries beyond human comprehension, even a couple 100 years ago. Even we have technology that people even a century ago, less than a century ago, wouldn't be able to imagine.
Yep. And at the time, they knew the importance of having a man around, right? And not having that high of expectations. So,
well, that was kind of the other part of it. This is the opposite end of it.
Right.
So, yes, you've seen the importance of having the man, but you also saw the consequences. Think about how much your standard everyday media scrubs the consequences for strong and independent women. Like, when was the last time you saw mainstream media depict prostitution in a negative light?
Never. And when the streetwalker does get put on the news for, like, oh, there was an issue of illegal prostitution, it's towards the man, not towards her. Like, she's not revealed or nothing. It's the man that's in trouble.
Yeah, but like, they don't really. Like, do you really think that women would be as keen to get into prostitution if they watched content for an hour a day that showed all these used up 304's former model actresses, the Mia Khalifas of the world, breaking down and crying because they were so undesirable, looking absolutely hideous at a young age?
Yeah, they will be less inclined to do that.
That's the thing. It doesn't even cross their mind because they can't imagine it. It isn't put in front of them. The consequences are scrubbed clean, whereas the fringe benefits are overplayed and glamorized to the point where they feel it's commonplace because they see it so much. Whereas in reality, it's the 0.001% just amplified.
Yep, which is why, I'm sidetracking a bit. It's also important for a man to be in their children's lives. Because once again, he's willing to show the consequences or teach the consequences of her or his actions. But without him in the picture,
actually,
yeah.
Yeah, thinking about it, it's very much like lottery tickets. Like, think about it. Like, feminism is a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
That only advertises showing the winners.
Pretty much. Yeah, you're not wrong. Oh, because I'm seeing the same women over and over and over and over and over and over, on big stream media that has success that 0.0001% of the population will ever have, such as like Rihanna, Kim Kardashian, Lady Gaga, Kendall Jenner, and whatever mega successful woman that's out there. They're constantly broadcasted. So they think they can't lose.
Yeah, but honestly, if you went to the average woman who's like, I want to be strong and independent, and you said, name me 50 women, and I'll give you the internet. Name me 50 women that have had success through feminism.
Yeah, that's going to be a very hard task for them to do.
I think that you'd have an easier time finding 50 successful MGTOWs than you would 50 successful feminists.
Exactly. I definitely agree with that. And them wanting all the things in the world, everything, and like pretty much on their Tony Montana time, right? The world is yours.
Yeah, and I think again, it's because it's all shown at once. Like, if they can see people on vacation all over the world every single day.
True.
Like, so they think it's normal. They normalize all these world trips. And I see it kind of the same thing like nowadays. A lot of people, they seem to have this expectation, like every year I'm going to hop on a plane and travel to the same exotic location and go for a week. I'm thinking, what the fuck are you doing?
Second of all, how are you even getting the who's paying for your trips and stuff? I know you don't got that type of money.
Well, I guess even when it's dudes, I'm like, for fuck's sake. Like,
yeah, even when it's dudes as well. Yeah, it's like no, but the crazy part is, men they tend to like learn quickly as they get older that there is no safety net. I need to do something right now, but because of women, they think that everything will be great and positive. Sex in the City type stuff where it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go out and be a 304 till I'm 50, and there's still gonna be a guy out there that wants me.
it's funny. I think we give a lot of shit to Sex in the City, but another TV show that I think was fucking hilarious was Friends.
Yeah, that was a good show. Yeah.
No. Do you remember the apartments in Friends?
Yeah.
Do you remember what job they all had?
No.
So think of that. So think of the apartment in Friends. What kind of job do you think it would take to afford that kind of apartment in New York City?
At least six figure job, like 6 figures, because they had like 3-4 freaking rooms.
Yeah, they did not have 6-figure jobs. Monica was a barista.
Yeah.
Like, that's the lifestyle fucking thing. None of them had jobs that justified having apartments like that.
Yeah, that was a pretty decent size apartment in New York. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, like, you need to be like at the very least middle management in a sizable company. But they all had fucking bullshit jobs that it's no way you could afford an apartment like that. But that's the thing with TV. They create is like, oh, well, this person works as a barista and she owns an apartment like this. So women are like, oh, you can have an apartment like that when you're a barista. It's like, no, you fucking can't. These aren't real. These aren't real people. They're not real. They're actors on a TV show reading a script. These feelings aren't real. These emotions aren't real. These sequences of events, they're not real.
What's that one science show? There's a very nerdy main character.
Oh, Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, I know how big their fucking apartment was. That was insane. That was insane. I'm like, just how do you even find an apartment that freaking big?
I mean, shit. Look at fucking Seinfeld. It's like, do you really think that Jerry Seinfeld was making that much as a stand-up comedian?
Hell no. But he is rich in real life.
Yeah, no, he's rich in real life. But is Jerry Seinfeld in the TV show who does like stand up at the same club, at like the same comedy club? Is that like, that's not the same Jerry Seinfeld who's making a TV show called Seinfeld?
Right. I'll give it to you. I'm definitely not disagreeing. But women, since they're way more consumers of the media these days than men, they definitely will have these false pretense on how the world actually works and what they can and cannot have.
Well, I think that also leads to the inflated expectations of men, because they look at television and they think, oh, this guy's got a basic ass job, but look at how nice his house is. It's like, he's a paid actor and that's a paid for set. The actor probably can't even afford the place on the actor budget, let alone the character he's playing.
Oh shit! But when they meet that nice looking guy, he works at the gas station. Oh no, it's just cool. He probably has a nice house. Bam! He has like a small ass studio. Like, oh, okay.
That he rents out with two other people.
Two other people. They all sleep on the same bed.
No. It's like they had a living room, but then they put up some drapes and just made a third bedroom.
Damn, I can definitely see that. Oh shit! But hey, I'm gonna add real talk right quick. Hey, yo, real talk. What's up?
What's going on, Yee? How you doing, Gray?
I'm pretty good.
Doing good. I'm just
finally kicking in.
Yeah, I'm staying hydrated right now.
Sure, I can hear you.
But what is your perspective on the topic of women literally can never be happy? It's, in my opinion, it's not possible.
Well, it's rooted in a few different things. One would be biology. One would be the make-believe world. So I'll address the biological aspect first. So as men, we're naturally the givers. We have an outie, and women, they are the receivers. They have an innie. Based off of us being the givers, it kind of goes along with us having testosterone. We inherently do not lust and crave and desire for power because we inherently have it. God has given us this testosterone to achieve great things. Women, on the other hand, weren't given the testosterone. So anytime they get some make-believe power by the powers that shouldn't be the status quo of this world, the make-believe world, it's just a temporary fix. So every single time they get something, it's just going to suffice for a temporary time, and they're always going to need more. Why? Because women's favorite word is more. I've verified this since I've been red-pilled, and I heard, a woman's favorite word is more. Every single time I ask these women, what's a woman's favorite word? 100 times out of 100, it's going to be more. Why? Because they don't have the power we inherently have. They inherently lust and desire for power because God just didn't give it to them. But this society has propped them up and allowed them to always have that temporary fix day after day. They wake up tomorrow, there's going to be 100 messages or 1,000 messages, depending on how good they look. That is society letting them play that make believe, giving them that temporary fix of power. And then the next day, they're going to need more messages to suffice that urge and desire for more. So it's multifaceted, but it's rooted in biology. And I think the people who rule this world, they knew that these women would always want more because they inherently lust and desire for power. So a big joke has been played on them, but we know the wall is when the joke finally sinks in.
That's actually like a good point about the people in power, because like this is something that I've really come to believe. If you think that the person who controls your life, like country, business, whatever, you think they're stupid, either A, it's an act, or B, they're a puppet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree.
It really doesn't make sense.
Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, exactly what Pete's touching on. It's dual nature, and I think let's just say if women did have testosterone, they wouldn't be insatiable. They would be able to create. Like, I believe testosterone is a creative gene. That's why men are better inventors, and we're always able to critical think on the fly, because it's like we've been given the availability to block out the emotional hormones that women weren't. But go ahead.
Well, they do. Listen, they do have testosterone in a much smaller amount, so it's not an absolute. But a huge part of it, from my understanding, is the actual structure of the brain. Women have a much thinner connection between the left and right hemispheres, and that makes it much harder for them to compartmentalize.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense.
But when it comes to what Outlaw says, I definitely agree that women are at war with their own nature and their social programming. They fight it every day. Every day. They know biologically that what they're doing is fucked up, and they shouldn't be doing it if they want to have an actual chance at a successful relationship. Why do you think that women, even though they claim that, oh, we're empowered, we're this, we're that, they lie about their age, they lie about their weight, they lie about their body count, they lie about how they look?
Well,
they know this.
That's the thing. They are in line with their nature. It's just two conflicting aspects of their nature. The one part of their nature, which is to find a man, secure a man, have a bunch of children, be stable, that's in conflict with acceptance from society.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have all these older, bitter, single women and the men who use these women to gain power, creating a society that promotes a certain kind of women. So these women are forced to choose between the two biologies, and the compromise they have is sleeping with Chad Tyrone, going for the best genes, while at the same time trying to create the image for themselves as what society tells them is a high status woman.
Yeah, and I think you touched on what the powers that shouldn't be, what they enjoy using to reinforce the make-believe. They always have some good-looking, whether it's a man, no homo, or a woman. There's a channel on YouTube that calls them act whores. These people whore themselves out on the big screen to paint a picture about a false sense of reality for Americans. They're act whores.
And when it comes to model women, it's just hilarious how, in the end, when they think that, once again, Tony Montana time, the world is yours, and then when they hit 45 or 50, they finally admit that they fucked up and feminism lied to them. I'm like, no. I guarantee you have plenty of men let you know what the fuck you're doing is not really a good idea. When it comes to waiting until you're 40 to have kids or whatever, or having delusional standards.
Yeah,
because
no one has the excuse, oh, I didn't know any better. Horse shit. You knew better.
Yeah.
You
Plausible
were told
deniability.
better. And that's the thing. They're trying to, again, the victor or victim narrative is all about societal acceptance. They can't be like, yeah, I fucked up, I'm a bad person, because then it's like, oh, I'll be ostracized from society, so I have to pick something to blame. There's a bunch of women who hate feminism at my age and say they were deceived, so I'll go with that and just conveniently forget all the people who ever told me that what I was doing was going to destroy me in the future.
I definitely agree with what you're saying. And I'm going to read that guy's Pete stuff right quick. A psychologist once said, a man's brain is like a warehouse of shelves filled with boxes that never touch. Ideas are separate. I agree. For women, everything is connected to everything. I also agree. Because, once again, they primarily base their decisions on emotions. Right? Because it's instantaneous, and whatever is happening in that particular moment, they're going through a rush of emotions, trying to choose how to act, and they don't really know how to deal with that immediate issue, depending on the severity that it is, unlike men. Because when it comes to women, they usually have some hysterical moment. They're just screaming like crazy. Like, why are you screaming? Stop fucking screaming.
Actually, I'm doing a little bit of research here into that part of the brain, the corpus callosum, which is what separates your left and right hemispheres. Fascinatingly enough, it contains the most white matter of any part of the brain, and it is only found in placental mammals.
Well, what does that mean?
Okay, so you know how like humans are born, and when we're born as kids, we come along with like that weird bloody bag.
Yeah, I know what that is, but I mean the brain. Like, well.
Oh, okay. Well, it's that separation between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. I'm just trying to find the exact thing where. Yeah. So, yes. The difference between the two sexes with the corpus callosum is 70% different.
How so? The size?
That's significant.
Yeah, like there's a 70% difference in mass.
That makes a lot more sense.
Oh man, ring a bell.
That's how men are more likely to be able to choose when and how to act in a certain situation.
Now, interesting. This pops up on Wikipedia. I need to double check the source on this, but apparently, in transgender people, it's structurally more in line with the gender that they choose rather than the assigned one. So basically, the one determined by your base genetics. So it may be that the development of the corpus callosum is tied into your hormone balance.
That's an interesting concept I've never heard of before. I didn't know that brain matter size can change depending on hormones.
Well, it would make sense because like your brain will, well, the size is more or less the same, but your brain is constantly changing and adapting over the course of your life. The structure itself has to change for the process of learning.
I see what you're saying.
I'd be curious to go into a deeper dive on the corpus callosum in adults versus children. Because if we think of children, they very much have a lot of crossover between their thoughts and their I'm kind of have been eating dinner at the side, so I'm getting stuff caught in my throat.
I was just making sure.
And I also say more words in one of these streams in a row than I do the entire rest of the day.
All right, that's true. But what were you saying?
Yeah, so I'd be curious to see how it develops in children, because children, much like women, tend to be very emotional, and every thought, every logical process ties into that. And you really see the division between the sexes happen post-puberty when they get the greatest influx of hormones.
That is definitely a conversation we can deep dive into the future. It will most likely be on Odyssey though, because if you go Alex Jones style, then we will definitely be banned.
Although, because it would explain a fair bit about soy boys too.
Yep, and I definitely have a good amount of theories that the YouTube gods they won't like it at all. They won't.
Oh, absolutely. We're gonna have to make it at least probably. Yeah, we'll have to figure out a way to integrate Odyssey so we can do some of these.
I'm sure I'll be able to. Dives. I just gotta add in the code or the numbers or whatever. The key. I think it is the key. I am going to be adding Island Hermit. What's going on, Island Hermit?
Yo, what up? So I actually had a thought. If you think about it, hypergamy is like a curse. Women are truly never happy, and they see a guy that's a little bit better, and then they'll leave that guy for the next guy that's a little bit better, and they'll just do that, jumping from schlong to schlong to schlong until they're 30 to 35, and they're like, wait a minute, I can't do this anymore because I'm old as fuck. And then they die alone with cats.
Well, pretty much, and that's the reason why they hate men in general, right? Because like we once again, we can be content, we can be happy with what we have, and the biggest thing is we can be happy without their presence.
Yep, and think about this. So most men would be totally fine settling for an average girl, like a 6 or 7. She's like kind of cute, but she's really nothing special. Most guys would be fine with that. But if you flipped it, women would not be cool for a guy that's just like average. He, makes an average income. He's like not really ugly, but he's not Chad. Like,
well, that's the thing. The average is relative to their experience. An average, as I keep in mind, an average size man nowadays, you go back a couple hundred years or 1,000 or 2,000 years, the average height nowadays would be amongst the tallest of men.
Yeah, what was the average height back then? I know it was much shorter.
I thought it was 5'5", 5'4".
Yeah, Chad back then was probably like 5'6". Like, oh, I don't date guys unless they're 5'6". And now if you're 5'6", like, you're invisible to them.
Oh, shit.
Did you find the answer, Gray?
Yeah, I'm finding 5'9".
2,000 years ago?
700,000 and 200,000 years ago.
Was 5'9" was the average?
Apparently.
Huh. I swore that they were shorter around 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, whereas
hold up.
Yeah. Oh
Probably
no,
depends
sorry,
on
that's,
how
no,
long.
that's Homer heidelbergensis.
Oh,
That's
so
it. That's a different one of the hominids.
It probably depends on how far back you look. I'm sure like 2,000 years looks a lot different from 10,000 years, and like the farther back you go.
no. I'm just saying because like he's probably looking at the Neanderthals because I'm like the average human that we were that
Yeah.
we were not that tall.
No, Neanderthals were 5'5".
Okay,
for
so what
men.
about humans, like Homo sapiens?
This site that I found doesn't say that, so I'm actually
Of
going to look at
course.
Middle Ages.
Yeah, let's go to the.
Apparently, yeah, 1600s and 1700s, average height of men decreased by about 3 inches.
So it was 5'6".
Let's see, 65.75. Yeah, about 5'6" in like 1600s and 1700s. From like like went from 5'9" to 5'6".
What?
Was Alexander the Great 5 feet tall?
We're gonna have to look that up. That's crazy if he was 5 feet.
Was who?
Insane. Alexander the Great.
Oh yeah, no, he was fucking short.
Damn.
Damn.
I
always thought he was some badass warrior dude.
Oh, he was.
Oh, he's still badass.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, Alexander the Great was 5 foot tall.
I don't know if I could take a dude serious though, running up on me, and he's 5 foot.
Hey,
he did it solo.
He never lost a battle.
Yeah. Well, he was fighting a bunch of other 5 foot tall dudes also. So.
Yeah. Apparently, average height of a Greek man during that time was like 5'4". So yeah, Alexander the Great was short even by the standards of the time.
Yeah, still short as fuck.
And see, I remember I was reading this thing because I was like trying to learn how Spartan warriors train, because I heard they did a lot of calisthenics. And then in the same article, it said that the women wouldn't breed with short men because they didn't want to produce kinglets. I started dying, dude. So that's kind of like what we talk about in this corner of the internet.
When was this?
And now to be fair,
the Spartans.
When your primary form of combat is melee, the length of your arms and legs does make a noticeable difference in your combat ability.
That is true.
I just thought it was funny that they straight up called them kinglets. And it's like, I know everybody was short back then, so it's like, if they didn't want to breed with short guys, I wonder what height range they were going for.
Honestly, probably if the average height's 5'4", then the chances are 5'4" to 5'6". If you were 6 foot or more back then, you were probably considered extremely tall.
Yeah,
you were like a Giga Chad.
If I was back in time, man, I'd be getting mad bitches. Like way more bitches. I'm getting right. It would be too much. Okay, get away from me. Oh my god.
All you'd have to do is go back in time with a lighter. I am the fire god. Worship my cack. Shoot one of them in the head. I bring death.
Just bring in 4 or 5 people. Just bring shit ton of ammo and. You'll be unstoppable. Oh my god!
There's a funny anime that's like that. It's called Gate, and it's basically you have this medieval era, and the Japanese self-defense force goes back in time. So they've got helicopters and tanks rolling up in the medieval era.
Fuck yeah! I'll be doing what the fuck? Those are big ass horses. But yeah, people who are 6 foot tall or higher back in the Greek days. Oh man, the amount of bitches would be endless. He'll get tired of all the puniti. It's too much. It's too much. Let me take a break.
Well, yeah, especially with my plan. First, I'm going to the future to get a hoverboard. Once they see me fly, they're definitely worshiping my cock. And then when I have a lighter and a machine gun and a flashlight, dude, it's a wrap.
I mean, to be fair, you don't need. Yeah, that's the. You don't need to go to the future to get a hoverboard. You just got to go to Dubai.
Yeah, I thought we already had hoverboards now.
Yeah, but are they actually legit working hoverboards, or do you hover for 5 seconds?
It's legit from what
up,
I've seen.
dude, like look up the shit that's in Dubai. Like,
yeah, I haven't seen any of this
they
stuff.
got motherfucking actual jetpacks in Dubai.
That I definitely agree, Black Red Pill. Female mating standards are marching humanity into extinction. You know, not complete extinction, but the population bullshit. It's going worldwide.
That's the thing.
Except for the thermal countries.
Well, part of it's again, this is the mouse utopia. Like, it's not their standards would exist, period, but it's also the abundance of resources that's making the real difference. They've always had these preferences, but now they don't have to worry about resource acquisition.
Yep, I agree with that. I definitely agree. Like I said earlier in the stream, women, they proclaim that men are not a necessity to them anymore because of all the resources they can get now on their own. Even though we get it for them anyway, you know, through logistics and all that crazy shit. But they don't care about that.
But yeah, but like that's really the key difference. Whereas in the Mouse Utopia experiment, all the food is essentially provided by a god. Like, you know, a human relative to mice.
I am the mouse god.
Like I say, like everyone's fed, everyone's protected.
Well, it's like mouse communism, basically.
Yeah, but like in a sense where it technically works because there is, for all intents and purposes, infinite food, infinite protection. Everyone is equal. So the only differences are who's the biggest and strongest.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
We lost Real Talk.
Yeah,
he'd be back.
He had to
all right.
That experiment right there that you just explained with the mouses, that's very accurate what's happening. I definitely, especially first world countries, depopulation is happening around the world. And slowly but surely, we're going to have issues around 2070, was it? I think it was 2070 is where it gets to like danger mode because there's going to be a shit ton of older people and not enough young people to pick up the slack of the previous generation.
This all reminds me of a video I seen a long time ago. I got to dig it up and share it with you guys. There was a group of women basically saying that fucking the guy that plays Captain America, Chris Evans, like that should be like the base standard for like every dude, and that's like not even enough. They were like basically just saying like Captain America wasn't enough for them. Are you fucking serious? Like, this dude's built, he's fucking a Hollywood actor, and you want this to like be the standard for all men?
Like, that's genetics, that specialized diet, that's definitely some steroids. Oh, and that's also specific conditioning only sustained for an incredibly short period of time. Yeah, even Chris Evans can't maintain the Captain America physique for more than like a couple days at a time.
Well, it's just crazy that they want this to be the base standard for all men. A Hollywood actor that he has definitely a personal trainer. He's got his fucking somebody doing his meal plans for him. He's probably on some sort of gear, and you know he's successful. And they're like, "Oh, that's average now." I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like,
well, yeah. And what I'm saying is, so I can't say specifically that this happened with Chris Evans, but I read about with Henry Cavill. For a shirtless scene on The Witcher, he had to dehydrate himself over the course of 3 days to lose all the water fat, all the water retention to actually get a 6-pack for that scene.
Yeah, a lot of dry fasting and sauna.
A lot of Hollywood actors do that because they want to look as lean as they can for a movie. So, like, Hollywood actors will do crazy shit just to look apart for a movie. And, like, you know, I don't blame them. If Hollywood was giving me millions of dollars, I'd do it too. So,
well, definitely, that's the thing. Like, it's your job to look a certain way. Like, your body does not belong to you when you're in Hollywood. Your body belongs to the director.
Hollywood or Holly Weird? Because I say Holly Weird.
Well, it's like
fucking
the
weirdos.
The Batman movie, for this last Batman movie, they tried to get him to do steroids to bulk up for it, and he didn't do it. He was like, "Nah, I want to do this natural."
Don't spoil it for me.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like, Hollywood wanted him to do steroids for the part because, you know, Batman's always been like a super huge dude. I'm pretty sure in the comics he like benched 1,000 pounds, something retarded that no human would do unless you're on something. But anyways, yeah, they wanted him to do juice for it, and he was pretty much like, "No, I want to promote like a natural body and what you could get naturally as a male." And they're like, "All right, fine." And like, you know, he was in good shape, but he was like no like giant like Mr. Olympia dude, but he was still in good shape.
But hey, I do see what you're saying where these women they don't even see these top Hollywood stars, at least physically. That they're not enough.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, they're disappointed in Jason Momoa when he's not in full Aquaman mode. Like, when he loses his six-pack because he's not, you know, heavily conditioning and he's on vacation. They're like, "Oh, you know, he can do better. There's room for improvement." Like, bitch, you don't even go to the gym.
Yeah, they'll laugh at him for that, but they'll be like 40 pounds overweight. It's like, shut up. Like, you look like Jabba the Hutt, and you're trying to shame him because, like, he put on a little bit of weight because, you know, he was probably super strict with everything for that role, and he just wanted to, like, take time off to, you know, just live a little.
Yeah, there's kind of 3 points I want to tie together. I think Yeetus brought up how emotional these creatures can be. Island's bringing up their selectivity and the standards has gone up. And Gray, what was it now? I'm trying to retain my thought process, but the thickness or the white. What was it? The white blood count, white white matter.
The thickness of the corpus callosum, which is mostly white matter. Yes.
Okay. Now that all tying into how this particular creature, whether it's a man or a woman or a trans, thinks. Trans and women being so emotional, they are always in fantasy world. So the Superman-esque type guy, the top of the top, Henry Cavill, after he is starving himself out and whatnot, or the water weight thing, that is the Superman type guy, and we know that it's tied to a fantasy. The emotions and the blue-pilled simps also think through fantasy because they're wired like women. So I think that this fantasy land is connected to that gene expression of the white matter. So men, you know, a man through how he thinks, and if he's thinking outside of himself and he's thinking in reality and he's never thinking in terms of fantasy, you have masculinity there. But the complete opposite is this fantasy world. So it's kind of crazy, but as soon as you said even trans in their expression can have this change in the matter itself, I think that's all tied to the fantasy, the make-believe.
Yeah. Yep. And we will have that conversation on Odyssey.
Yeah, and yeah, it is tied to age as well.
Understandable.
So it does get thicker as you get older.
But when it comes to, well, maybe that's why they don't learn until it's too late, right? Overall,
the age was 5 to 18 that particular study was happened. There was no reference study beyond 18.
I don't. Man, these women don't learn until they're 45 or 50. they don't learn at all. But when it comes to the delusions and they want the glamour and all this crazy stuff that they want, especially when it comes to men, right? They wait for this delusional standard man, like with the most craziest attributes. They're just waiting for this man to show up in her life, and that's when she would choose to settle down and get married. Eventually,
and the crazy
she's 45 and 50, and he never shows up.
Well, and the funny thing is, even if he did, why would he pick her?
Exactly.
They never ever can answer that is like, if there was this perfect man, he'd be desired by literally every woman on the planet. What have you got that they don't?
Well, yeah, it's like they want the Chris Evans and the fucking the guy that plays Thor or whatever to settle for them at 45. And it's like, no, he's smashing 18, 19, 20-year-olds. You're invisible to him.
Now, and the thing is, I was actually thinking about this a bit earlier. Like the strategy that women have to smash as early as possible a Chad. Now, so you know that like the danger of catching feelings. If you sleep with a woman frequently enough, spend enough close time with her, you will catch feelings.
Yep. Depending on the severity of the feelings, it will not end for you as a man.
See, opinion. I've taken so many red pills. I don't even think I would catch feelings, dude. I am so indifferent to these women, to where, like, say I went back to dating, I would never get into a relationship where I couldn't bounce out in 30 seconds.
Yeah, now that I'm older, I can definitely separate feelings from sex easy.
Well, that's the thing. That too may also be a side effect of high testosterone and corpus callosum. But we got to remember, these women are projecting their own ideas of how the world works. So they only have their own brain as reference.
Yeah.
But I think that their idea might be, if I just sleep with this guy enough times, it doesn't matter that he's a Chad. He'll catch feelings for me, and then he'll be mine, even if I'm not as good as all these other ones.
I'm like, why would Chad settle down when he has literally 50 chicks texting him right now? like, as a man, that's just going against your nature, pretty much.
Yeah,
you know.
But again, we got women who they project. They think that that everyone in the world thinks exactly the way they do, and they can't possibly fathom someone thinking or feeling differently.
Yep, I agree with all of that. I agree. And would you say, okay, serious question, because I know in one of the clips that I watch on Fed and Simp, right? He said that it is outright selfish that women are refusing to procreate for their own like delusional glamour reasons. Like, he claims that it is outright selfish for women to be doing that, purposely ending the bloodline. What would you say about that sentence that he said?
That's an interesting perspective. I'm not going to say outright no. There's some nuance there.
Right.
Because is it selfish? I don't know. Because it's not like there's another human being that's being negatively affected.
Well, not another human being, but society as a whole will be affected if this current trend keeps going.
But society as a whole wants this.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, with our biological imperatives, she is definitely just willing to, like, nope, I don't want kids, or I will have 200 abortions. I'm not going to have kids until I'm 40. Oh, wait, I have a kid, but he has issues health-wise.
Yeah, like, you see, that's where the line crosses. Like personally, I'd say that a woman who has a kid to be a son husband, that is selfish.
Okay.
Yeah.
But a woman who, like, let's say they don't have kids. They're like, I don't want kids. I'm 20. I'm getting my tubes tied, so it's not even a possibility. Like, let's just assume that extreme for the sake of this argument.
Then I will say that's understandable. That's her choice, but she needs to be able to live with it.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's the thing. So I just don't think selfish is the right word.
Now, are you saying that they're selfish because they're not contributing to society? Is that what you mean?
in a sense of they're negatively impacting society, and the fact that they're choosing to pretty much end their bloodline just for the stupidest, like feminist, craziest reasons, like no valid reason.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
like
they just want to do it. Like having
like
10. No. Here's the big thing: having 10 or 20 abortions and bragging about it.
Well, yeah, that's fucked up, because that's actually
selfish.
life.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like at that point, they are killing their children.
Yep.
That's the selfish aspect to it. There's a difference between choosing not to have kids and choosing to kill all potential children.
Yeah, like if they're
what'd you say, Island Hermit?
Well, yeah, if they're getting an abortion like every Tuesday, yeah, that's fucked up. That's totally selfish. But like if they're just not having kids, personally, I don't care, because if they were to have kids, they would be put into this world that would feed this system that hates men. So fuck it. Don't let any of them have any kids. Let the whole thing fucking burn.
Yeah, I would just give it scenarios, okay?
And if
in the sense of
that's the thing, because like he gave a very general statement, and we're just like more breaking it down into kind of the nuance.
No, give me that shit.
But it's like I cannot wait for the collapse of the West, and if they stop having babies and that speeds things up, I'm cool with it.
But I was giving scenarios when it comes to the women will possibly being selfish, such as literally having kids that they can't take care of, or they're having kids late in the game, such as freezing their eggs and shit, and their kids possibly popping up with health issues, or them killing their own kids, or they just refuse to have kids because of the ridiculous feminist insane ideologies, like no valid like reason. It's just like, oh, men are trash. Oh, can we have a boy? I don't want no kids. Men are obsolete. I don't want my baby coming into this world to deal with men. Like, in a sense of selfish on who they directly affecting, I will say their parents.
To be fair, though, if they got to that point, their parents fucked up.
Well, yes and no, because the change definitely tends to happen like dramatically when they hit college.
That's the thing. No, their parents sent them to college.
Right. See, I agree.
Every father that sent his daughter to college is sacrificing his bloodline.
In 2022,
he's the one fucking paying for it.
Yeah, in 2022, he fucked up. I agree. But I'm talking about decades before when they didn't really have that in mind. Like, let's say 2000, 2005, even though feminism, it was still prevalent at the time. Like, they didn't really comprehend that this would be a huge issue of the indoctrination.
Women and men went to college in the 70s and 80s. They knew how big college girls were. They know what they're doing, sending their girls to college.
This kind of reminds me yesterday. I had this girl trying to brag to me about how she was like going to college. I thought thought I would be impressed by it. And I'm just thinking like, yeah, so what, you can get $100,000 in debt and get ran through? No thanks.
But here's the thing, right? Because, decades back, the parents were definitely more gullible in a sense of they tended to be more religious than people are now. So they couldn't perceive their girl that they raised, all religiously and shit.
I wouldn't say that they were gullible. I'd say they were negligent.
Okay, we can roll that way. But the main thing is the negligence that they sent their kids to college in 2022, let's say today. They just couldn't comprehend the full consequences of her coming back with short-haired fucking, they're 73 genders now, and like where the fuck is going on?
Keep in mind, the kids get sent off to public school at age 5.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree.
So essentially, by the time they're going off to college, 3/4 of that child's life has been spent in government-funded daycare.
But the dramatic change, especially what I've seen, the dramatic change from the daughter that looks conservative, acts conservative, and when they sent the kid to college freshman year, and she comes back from the indoctrination, like, because I see college as hardcore feminist indoctrination. Don't get me wrong, they've been learning.
Yeah, I agree. Because at that point, like, they've gone from seeing their kid for a couple hours each night to seeing their kid maybe a couple times each year.
Yeah, I've heard stories of girls going off to college and then they come back to visit their parents and their like heads are shaved and they're like, I hate you because you're oppressive white males and shit. Yeah. Like, it gets crazy, dude.
That's the big change is college, because
like it's bad in like normal school, but like college is like super Saiyan times 10.
It's definitely bad. Okay. Oh, it is horrid, because literally all or most of the subjects that are being taught in these colleges these days always goes down to the alphabet community, or man bad, man boo.
Yeah, gender studies. Why do you need to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn gender studies? Like, what the fuck?
Well, it goes beyond that. Like, even in the normal classes, the specific topics covered in curriculums usually have that kind of theming.
Yep. And the funniest thing is the parents do act shocked. They're like, oh, like, where did I go wrong?
You went wrong. You went wrong when you sent your 18-year-old daughter off to post-secondary, off to fucking college, because you didn't know what to do with her.
Yeah, now she's ran through and has blue hair, and it's all your fault.
Like, that's like, I hear fathers nowadays, because I work with them. And one's like, yeah, I'll probably send daughter off to college. Not really sure what she's going to major in because she doesn't have any particular interests. Like, do you just not give a rat's ass about her future? Or are you just so whipped that you have no initiative at all?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think they know? Like, are they just gullible? Or, I don't know, dude.
Okay, so
it just feels like such a lack of that's where I say it's negligent. I think we have generations of parents who don't know how to be parents because they didn't have parents. They may have come from a 2-parent household, but they were raised by the state.
Yeah, and I've talked to a lot of boomers that think like you can't do anything in life without college, and that is not true anymore. There was a point in time where that was true, but now college is just a giant scam. It's a joke. Unless you're going for something that's going to make you a ton of money and like the jobs are high in demand, you're just wasting your time.
So what you're saying is the parents ended their own bloodline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I can agree with that. I was just wondering what you guys thought of the Andrew Tate quote that he said, because he couldn't comprehend like what was going on. Like, yo, like, what is truly you guys' purpose to just do all this crazy shit, not have kids, potentially kill your kids.
They are government agents. They are doing exactly what the state has taught them to, and the state is their real parents.
Yeah.
They are serving the will of their true father and husband, the government. Yep. That is their purpose. They're agents of the state.
I agree.
Well, it's like they say leftists don't have kids. They have your kids.
True.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But with all the craziness that we're talking about, I'm sure, like, no one here is surprised on the state of women's happiness today.
No. Because
I don't think I asked you yet, either, Hermit. Like, you see the big difference between the Amish and modern women, right? Amish women and modern women.
Yeah, my dad has a property by Amish farms, and like I'll take like the mini bikes just down this dirt road, and there's like Amish farms everywhere, and you'll see like the women outside, they look happy. There's like 7 kids running around. Like, you know, at the end of the day, like Gray said, they're still women, but I think they're a lot happier because I'm sure you guys heard of the stats. The most unhappy demographic people in the United States, probably the world, is women in their 40s that have been focused on their career without kids.
Yep.
And I think that this is actually where it gets into, like, this is the upside to women seeing possibilities. With their children, they see that potential. They see the potential in their kids. And imagining that potential for their children makes them happy. Like, that's a healthy fantasy to have.
Yep, I definitely agree with that one. Before we continue to the next topic, I'm going to see if anybody else wants to join. If you guys want to join in,
I'm going to grab
with the
another
chat.
beer real quick, so I'll be right back.
All right. Real talk, you have anything to say about it? Well, what we just talked about?
Yeah, the happiness that these women feel, I think a lot of it's backed when they make the sacrifice not to ride the cock carousel. They're happy that that sacrifice wasn't in vain when they see the children they raised do anything good in this world. It's like a huge reward to them. They're like, okay, I wasn't crazy for giving up all the good times. After all, the children and their happiness and the feeling that I'm feeling now is worth so much more than that cock carousel ride ever could have. So I think women in the back of their minds, because they're free spirited, you know, the idle mind is a devil's playground. I think they naturally want to go out buck wild riding the cock carousel, whether it was 5,000 years ago or it's 2022. But the moment that they have any sort of payoff from that family life, or they chose not to go buck wild, that has to be a big portion of the happiness, is knowing, yes, I made the right decision and a lot of my friends didn't.
All right, cool. And hey, if you guys want to support your boy Sir Yeetus, go ahead and donate to Cash App. The link is on top of the chat. If you want to send a question, say anything, or just feel like donating, all donations are definitely appreciated. Okay. When it comes to women's unhappiness, right? So what would be the solution if you had the power, if you had the means? What would you do, Gray, when it comes to this women are never happy phenomenon, and because of modern tactics such as social media, feminism, all that stuff? How would you make the unhappy women epidemic go away, or at least calm it down?
No public school, no birth control.
Okay. That's pretty much it, or
that's the simplest and most that's the short, like, elevator pitch right there. Because
okay.
and here's and I can actually justify it. But here's the caveat that has to make it all work. No immigration.
True.
Because here's the thing. Why do we send, like, kids to public school? Because we're trying to get them to the baseline training to be factory workers and clerks. That's it. If women aren't going to be entering the workforce because they're going to be having babies, they have no need to get a formal state education. That is just wasting money and resources. If they're not going to need that, they have no need for post-secondary education. Which means if they're going to get any education, it's going to be homeschooling, which will be by their mother, who's not going to be in the workforce because she has no credentials. And she's going to have a lot of kids, and she's going to have a very stable relationship and probably get married young because there's no birth control. So she's basically going to be having kids very frequently. Yes, no more welfare definitely would be a caveat to that, but like you take away immigration, now there's no labor import, so the state needs a lot of babies. So they are not going to encourage women to not have babies. They're going to want as many taxpayers coming out.
Well, like the was it Sweden or Switzerland? Or was it Denmark? That was actually incentivizing men to go make babies, and
the feminist Scandinavian countries have that issue. That's the thing, because they're not getting the import numbers they need to pop out the taxpayers that they require, and women are net tax losses, so you don't want them in the workforce. They're far more valuable in the long run popping out kids, and that fits a woman's biological imperative. And if she's got a bunch of kids that she has to constantly look after, she's not going to be spending time browsing social media, getting jealous of all her friends, because all her friends are going to have their kids too. There won't be this mass collective of single women destroying families by making wives think the grass is greener on the other side. So the simplest way is just 3, 4 if we include no welfare. So let's say like the 4 pillars to make women happy are no welfare, no public education, no birth control, no immigration.
All right, I agree with that. Other Hermie, have anything to add on to that?
Yeah, I got a good one, and then I got to head out and get ready to hit the gym. But I would repeal the 19th. Here's the thing. They have too many options. That's why they're not happy. They have the whole think about it. They have the whole world at the tips of their fingers, and they're still not fucking happy.
Sorry, I heard it the last time I heard that argument was a communist was against capitalism. Capitalists not happy because they have too many options.
Yeah, but that's not how I mean it. But like, think about it.
I know, it's just funny. The context is like, communism does work for women. You need to limit they should own nothing and they'll be happy.
Yeah, live in the pod and eat the bugs.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so many options that pretty much they can't really narrow down the suitable mates because there's so many.
I've dated girls in the past where they told me, I wish I was born in the 1950s. Oh, you mean when women didn't have any rights? Oh, you would have been much happier back then? And it's like, I've literally had like girlfriends tell me that, dude. Well, and I don't think they think that shit through.
Well, at the same time, they crave.
Well, that's the thing.
They want to have an easier time finding a mate, and on top of that, women, they actually will like to have somebody in charge, and they're not in charge by themselves.
And I, for real though, do think they would be happier if you repeal the 19th and like, because like, I don't know, dude. I just feel like they'd be much happier. Like, they like to cosplay they're strong and independent and they don't need no man and all that bullshit. But it's like, come on, like, so many women are on head meds. They're miserable. You ain't fooling nobody.
That actually makes an interesting point, because women overwhelmingly have equality as their highest value. And when a society has equality as its driving value, it becomes a communist government. So that's the thing. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe the key to a woman's happiness is communism for women.
And even then, they still won't be happy.
No, that's the thing. They won't have a choice.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, if you gave me the Infinity Gauntlet, I'd snap my fingers, repeal the 19th, back in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant, shutting the fuck up. Where's my dinner?
And I don't even have to be an asshole either. All right. As long as she's doing what she's supposed to do, I'll make sure she's good.
Well, it's like what Loki said in the first Avengers movie. They were made to be ruled.
Humans or women?
women.
Well,
Loki
Loki meant it to be humans, but
Yeah, he meant to be human, but I'm talking about women. They were made to be ruled.
Okay,
They
I was
were
about to
made-
say. Okay,
and let's be honest. Like a healthy man versus a healthy woman, yeah, you're basically looking at a god to a mortal.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting. Yeah, the biblical standard, the actual term husband, it's equivalent to like her lord. Like you're basically her lord, like her god, because spiritually speaking, they have to get their spirituality, or they have to get their spiritual connection with God through the man. So like husband means like their lord. You lord over them.
Well,
And that's
we
what I
were
think Island's
pretty much
describing.
created. We were pretty much created in his image, right?
Yeah, and they were created from us.
Ooh, actually, funny. So just a quick search. So it comes from Old Norse, hus and bondi, which is house and occupier and tiller of the soil, to translate to husbondi, master of a house, or late Old English, male head of a household. The word husband assumes a position of superiority in of itself.
Because
Well,
he
yeah, and
also has to deal with the responsibility that comes with it.
And it was even like if you think of marriage, the father hands off the daughter to the husband. So he's got his ownership and he's handing that ownership to the husband. Now it is your duty to take care of this bitch and make sure she don't do nothing stupid and to protect and provide for her.
Now these days, the fathers are very happy to give away their daughters. Hey, she's your problem now.
Exactly. I'm just thinking like a father walks her down the aisle, hands her off, and then just screams to everyone in the congregation, "She's your problem now, sucker!" and bolts.
I'm free. Just hold out the altar. Just get the fuck out of here. Just
Hey guys, I'm gonna hop off though. I got a upper body workout. I got to smash.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, dude. You're honestly, Iron Hermit. You're my fucking motivation to try and increase my pull-ups. So thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Gray. Find me in the Discord, dude. I got some really good workout programs. I'll send you one of them.
I try. I can't find you there. Maybe can you DM me? I'll just post something in general.
Yeah. You're just Gray, right?
Yeah, Grey. I'll just say hi to you in the general chat, and you can find me there.
Yeah. Post something in the general chat, and I'll add you.
All right, man. Go ahead and get them gains, bro.
Yep, sound good. Nice talking to you guys as always. Peace, brothers.
Peace out.
Puniti.
All right, Gray. What were we again? Oh yeah. Yeah, when it comes to being an authority figure, that's the whole difference. You know, with power comes responsibility. Spider-Man. So,
Absolutely.
but that's not what women want in general. They want the power, not the responsibility at all. Nope, none. And they're just so shocked and appalled when they're out in this world on their own, having to deal with hundreds of responsibility, whether it's something as small as making sure that the house and and everything else is clean, you got your hygiene on point, all the way to paying bills and going to your job, going to family, making sure everything is good, dealing with the drama, working overtime, possibly getting sick, and she has to deal with that on her own, right? And she doesn't want to do that.
Yeah. No, I think simply enough, women want creative mode in life.
Yeah.
Like they want access to infinite of every resource to do whatever with, and it doesn't matter. Like that's the thing. What I've seen with a lot of women who actually play video games and survival video games, they're very good decorators. I'll give them credit there. They're good decorators.
Their favorite game is Sims.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's all I see them play. It's just Sims, maybe a little bit of Candy Crush, but most of it.
I've seen. That's the thing. I see the occasional one play like Conan Exiles or Minecraft.
Right.
But yeah, they do a lot of. That's the like if you honestly, I think Minecraft, because it's so popular and there's so many people playing it, you can actually get some nice psychological profiles. But like the men, they're the ones who make high efficiency farms, find all the in-depth technical stuff, and invent all the crazy things that generate a shit ton of resources. And women make very pretty things.
Pretty much, like, I'm gonna bring it up again. Bear Grylls, the Survivor Show, Man versus Woman, where men are just the men's side were just building shit like crazy, just building anything, right? Like, oh, let's figure out how to build a shelter, this and that. But on the female side, they were decorating their camp.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's like you don't even have your clean water issues sorted out, and you're focusing on making everything look pretty.
But yeah, in a survival situation, that
complete survival context. Whereas the guys whereas you go to the guys are like, yeah, we made like a pretty decent automated water purifier.
Oh, look, and we caught an alligator.
Oh god, yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like, give the women 2 little piglets and they keep them as pets. You throw the guys a crocodile and they're like, okay, we got to coordinate on this shit, but meat's back on the menu.
Pretty much, man. And man, I'm just saying, like, we immediately get to work because we know that if we as men don't do anything, everybody dies. There will be no winner.
And like, let's be honest, if the only protein that you've had for like a week or two has been fish, and you see a crocodile, yeah, you'll go for that shit.
Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. Fish is very, very healthy, but you get very bored very quickly if you eat it plain every day. It just gets boring.
Especially if there's no spices.
Yeah, that's
we take a lot of spices for granted nowadays.
Oh, definitely. Spices are important in reviving your taste buds, even if it's just salt.
Yeah, but like honestly, the very fact that like spice was such a commodity back in the day, like, we take it so much for granted, but you used to literally fucking kill people for spice.
Yeah, like now I get spice for what, $2?
Well, honestly, spice is still kind of pricey depending on the quantity you get at once.
Well, yeah, if you get like the array of spices, yeah, that gets pretty expensive. But the spices last for a while if you're on your own. So
yeah, which, I'm honestly going to take a chance to reiterate. If you can get some kind of spice plants now and learn how to grow them, if shit hits the fan and people start to starve, that's going to be a fucking commodity. Parsley could be a fucking cash crop for you.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I honestly, since spring is coming, I'd recommend everyone try to grow at least one vegetable or spice. Try to grow something.
If you have a house, don't do it at some random like an apartment or something.
That's the thing. Even if you have an apartment, you can just get just a plastic bin of medium size, like a recycling bin.
Right.
Grow shit in that.
True. You can leave it out on your balcony if you have a balcony.
Even inside by your window, depending on your living conditions. Heck, you can grow some spices in a freaking pot on a windowsill.
I could give some suggestions. Those shop lights, those LED shop lights, you can find at any big box store, Harbor Freight, Walmart. There's a certain color temperature. Some of them are like 4,000 Kelvin, others are 5. And you can do some research into growing vegetables underneath just those very inexpensive $20 LED shop lights. So they're about 4 feet long. They would probably cover like a 4 by 1 foot space, so about 4 square foot. And you could most likely, just because they have enough lumens and the color temperature's right, you can actually grow food underneath those. I saw. Go ahead.
Actually, just quick Google search regarding that. You want the blue range, 5,000 to 7,000 Kelvin to promote vegetative growth, and the red range, 3,500 to 4,500 to promote fruiting and flowering.
Yeah, with the 4,000, you can kind of knock out both. I was doing some research into that, but you can find some that are 5 and higher, and then you can find some that hover around the 3,500 range. So you could, you could have a full vegetative and flowering with these LED inexpensive shop lights. You don't have to replace the light bulbs on them, and they have like a seriously long service life. Sometimes they say like up to 20 years. So you really can't go wrong. They don't put off a lot of heat. They're not going to be strenuous on your electricity bill. So that's definitely something to consider. I think I saw a video of someone using one like with one of those wire food grade storage shelves where you can kind of adjust the shelving. I saw like someone doing like off the grid. They had basically this whole thing was solar powered. They just wanted to see how efficient they could get a home vegetable growing setup with solar panels and LED shop lights.
I'm sorry, but the irony, like I'm using the sun to power this light bulb to grow my vegetables.
Indoor, yeah.
I'm sorry, that's just funny.
Yeah, because like they were in a atmosphere that didn't have a lot of sunlight. I think these guys might have been in Alaska, somewhere where it wasn't. It was. I think they had lighting issues because it was cold. So yeah, that was just something I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, I would recommend to everyone, like, try to grow at least one plant this year. Like, don't know for sure whether or not this year will be shit hits the fan, but either way, it's going to be a valuable experience in the coming times.
Yep, because if it doesn't hit the fan, then you learn some new skills that you can use in the future. But you always need to prepare.
Yeah, and last thing, like it used to be like, okay, everyone should learn gardening, but not everyone has a yard. So everyone should learn food production on the scale that they can manage it. And I'll be honest, if I tried to grow shit in a garden outside, I basically need to set up a fucking guard tower with like sentries because the fucking wildlife here is crazy.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you gotta deal with all these animals or insects saying it's free real estate, eating all your stuff.
Yeah, that is one thing you won't have to worry. You'll still have to worry about like fungus and whatnot, but you won't have to worry quite as much about insect parasites or vermin getting at your crops.
That is true, especially if you focus on the simple stuff that you need to grow, such as rice. If there is a perfect area to grow rice, it should be so.
Rice, I think, might be ideal with hydroponics because from what I understand, rice paddies do tend to require a large amount of water. So you may actually it'd probably be easier to grow rice without soil entirely, so long as you just have water and nutrients.
Yeah, almonds use a shit ton of water as well.
So if I'm near a stream or something, that would be a good place.
I know. I'm just talking like could be in your garage or like an extra room in your house. I do recommend looking up some hydroponics gardening at home. There are examples.
True. I would definitely look that up tonight. Yeah. I got time. Oh, but I'm going to see if I can watch The Batman today. I don't feel like going to the movie theater, so I'm gonna figure it out. But last shill time. If you guys want to super chat, send questions, or just feel like donating, go ahead and click on the link on top of the chat and just donate to Cash App. All donations are definitely appreciated. All right, Gray. How do you feel about the overall talk today? Was it pretty good?
I think it was fairly productive. We've more or less covered the kind of cause and effect of why they are, because we do just have to accept that it is the way it is. We can't change their core nature. We can't change their physiology. We just understand why things are the way they are and understand that the current system is rigged in a way that it just makes these situations inevitable.
That is true. And if they would have, went the other route and actually focus on having a traditional relationship and focus on the home and the family, I'm pretty sure they will be a lot more content, not all the way content, but a lot more happier than they are right now.
Well, one additional step is, again, I'm going to keep promoting this. Women, if you want to be happy, you have to go MGTOW and cut ties with other women because they don't want you to be happy. They are your biggest enemy.
Oh, definitely. Like that quote from Al Bundy.
Women understand women and they hate each other.
Yeah, that's but not for no reason, chat.
If you got a happy family, your single friends are going to try to destroy it just to make you more like them.
Why do you think these bitter older women want to put on a facade saying that their lonely, single, empowering life is where it's at? They're bitter. They're putting out these crazy advice for younger women out of delusion or on purpose or both.
Actually, I think that actually does bring up an interesting point. Happy and content women don't try to change people.
Yes, I agree.
And that can be detrimental because they also don't correct bad behavior. But any woman that's trying to change your life is not happy and wants you to be miserable.
Yep. Or they want more.
Mm-hmm. It's power and control. I think Gray brought that up very, very early in the conversation.
I seen somebody wanted to join in. Evo.
Hello. Hi there.
What's going on?
Yeah, I wanted to add something to the topic as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned earlier that women can never be content, right? And I think that's the main reason why they never want to downgrade anything, right? Once they've had something, if they lose it, they are never satisfied with anything less than that.
That's
what do you
true.
think about that?
Yeah. I agree based on my experience dealing with women not willing to settle for a man because their choices in the past were a lot better. So unless that person is equal or higher, she ain't gonna go back down. That's her hypergamy at play. Would you agree,
Yes.
Gray?
I think it goes even further to where they don't have to have it themselves. They have to see that another woman has it.
Yeah, the grass is always greener on the other side.
They got to spark the competition.
If they go to, if they're on their deck, sunning themselves, and they're like, this is great. And then they look at their phone and they see someone on a tropical island with a hotter guy, they want that. And now they are not happy living in a freaking 6-figure house with a backyard. No, now they want a tropical vacation.
So I definitely agree with you, Evo. I definitely agree.
That's where their foolishness comes from as well. When they decide I'm going to date 20, 50 guys, as many as I want, and then I'm going to settle down. And they don't even realize that they're just unable to settle down after that. They can't downgrade.
If they never changed, if a woman was perpetually 18 in the modern world, she'd never try to settle down.
Yeah, that is true as well. Yeah, I have an example from my life. I was in a relationship with this girl, and every now and again, she would turn to me and she would say, "You never hug me." And in fact, I would hug her every day, right? So I would get pissed off, right? I would see that as a lie. And then when I was thinking about it, I remember that she told me that she used to date this Chad back in the day, and he had other women. He was just dating like 5 girls at the same time. And that guy told her, "I can never give you the hug you want from me," right? And then I realized that no matter what I do and how much I hug her, that hug is never enough for her because she wants the Chad's hug and nothing else. She would never be satisfied with nothing else.
I'm not surprised at all. What do you have to say about that, real talk?
Yeah. Why is the creature, why is the succubus so unhappy? And it ties in to what Evo and Gray are saying. Once she has or experiences something greater or higher of the upper echelons that this society has told her is the upper echelons, we know her upper echelon is having a family. That's her true happiness and children. But society's told her it's the Disney princess fairy tale 50 Shades of Grey. The succubus is so unhappy because she wants the whole goddamn world. Quote, shout out to Black Ram 313. But that's why they're so unhappy. They want the whole world, and they know they can't have it, but they see glimpses of other women having it in the hive, and it just drives this perpetual, insatiable, unbeatable appetite. So it's great to see them down in the dumps once they realize they can't have the whole world. It's the wall before the wall. Like that girl that Evo's describing, that was like the first glimpse of the wall, is like not being hugged enough or not being coddled, not being held. It's just like that level of, in their mind, love. Once they reach it, they have to have it again, and they can only have it in a certain way. Like the conditions have to be perfect. That's why their demands grow and grow and grow with their age, even though their value and their looks drop and their demands go up. It's because their experiences are so vast and so wide. They've had it all. It just has to keep getting better and better and better. I think CGA had mentioned, you take her to Ruth Chris, she's already been there 5 times. You take her to every steakhouse in town, she's already been to all of them. You have to go to the next town in order to keep satisfying this creature. So the succubus is sad because she wants the whole world and she can't have the whole damn world. So it is great seeing their frowns.
That's thing is, that actually reminds me a lot of drugs, and they are chasing the same thing. It's like you have some really, really awesome drug, and then everything else just pales in comparison. Let's say cocaine, for example. You're willing to give up everything in your life just to re-experience cocaine. And that's how you find yourself blowing someone in the back alley at 2 a.m.
It's like
Pookie, what was it in New Jack City? It keeps calling me. They just have that fiendish Tyrone Bigum's crackhead mentality. They're just scratching themselves like, I need some more Chad. I need some more Chad. Like they're having Chad withdrawal.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
They absolutely are.
But hey, man, thank you, Evo, for joining, giving your input. It's very unfortunate that happened to you, and I definitely agree what Ed is saying. The moment she sees you on equal footing, she will lose respect.
Yes. And I experienced that myself. At the end, I found out that she had no respect for me whatsoever, and that's where I ended the relationship. But uh, whatever. I'm looking forward now. All right, thank you for letting me join. I need to go and finish cooking my chicken soup, and
Nice.
oh hail the Warband and Puniti.
Puniti.
Huditi. All right, guys. I am about to end it right here. Thank you both for joining. There will definitely be another stream tomorrow.
Thanks for having me.
Sounds good.
No
Thanks
problem,
again for
man.
hosting.
Puniti.
Uniti.
Puniti.
All right, it's just me, your boy, the one and only. Thank you all who joined today to talk about this subject. And could we talk more about it? We could, but I think we got all the bases covered when it comes to women's unhappiness in 2022. It is very unfortunate, but this is what they chose. You know, even when people were letting them know, hey, this is not what you want to do. Why will you fight so hard to die in wars? Why will you fight so hard to work until you're 60? Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. Why won't you want to have a loving family? Why won't you want to have a nice household that you could be chilling in, and you will have not that many responsibilities besides the kids, taking care of the husband, etc. Why would you want to work for the rest of your life? What are you trying to prove? Why will you literally destroy your life in spite of men? You understand? Men in general don't hate women, but for some reason in today's society, women just have that disdain for men, and for what? And for what? Think on that, gentlemen. Think on that. This is Sir Yeetus. If you guys want to support my channel or the Warband, go ahead and click on that link on top of the chat to Cash App. All money will be going towards what the Warband needs and what I'm going to be doing my channel very soon. And there will be upcoming new music by tomorrow or the next day. But brand new music for the intro because somebody keeps goddamn copyrighting me. Hopefully you guys had your daily dose of red pills, and I am out. Peace.